Welcome back to From the Source podcast. This is episode 20, and today we're talking about injuries, setbacks, and kind of fitness fails or bad things that have happened to us, basically, in the gym. So I thought we'd start with worst injuries, fitness related or sport related. Have you had any big ones?
What do you class as big ones? I broke my nose 6 times.
What?
Yeah.
How? Rugby?
Yeah, playing rugby, yeah. Last time I broke it was on a water slide in South Africa, actually. But,
What? Did you nosedive or something?
No.
You're going to have to say it now.
I was on away on a rugby trip and loads of lads away. We went to a water park. And do you know those like 10-man fucking dinghies, those big circular things? Like, there's no rules in South Africa, just so if anyone knows. But all the lads filled it, like 10 lads. The lifeguard didn't really give a shit at all. So he pushed it down, and then all of us were waiting for a dinghy, so we ran down the water slide after them. Like, it was pretty fun, actually. And then we were literally running. The dinghy finished the slide, and it hits the slow water. I remember coming around the bend, and we were running, and obviously...
Were you in the dinghy? Or
No, I was running after it.
Right.
We were all running after it. And it hit the dinghy, the water hit the dinghy, and it stopped pretty much dead. And I'm running towards it thinking, I don't know how to stop. And literally I stood there like slid. I slid into the dinghy. I went over the dinghy, and a guy stood up out of the water. And I just hit my nose on the back of his head. So I remember him standing up and him turning like that and looking at me. And I just remember closing my eyes and just going smash straight into him. Obviously completely fucked the water slide and stuff, but... And then I woke up in the...
Did you get knocked out?
Yeah, straight. I remember waking up in the nurse's room. Just this woman just shaking me. And my nose was like halfway across my face.
Oh, mate.
And we were on a rugby tour. We were playing a rugby match, big rugby match, like 2 days later. And I ended up playing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you have like a bandage on your nose?
No, nothing. No, you can't do anything. So my nose was like bent. And I just played, but I just made sure I didn't like get my head stuck anywhere, which is really hard when you're playing rugby.
That you got past the balls like straight.
Yeah, it's
get
drilled
rid of
at
that
me.
straight.
Yeah, I had the worst headache in the world.
Yeah,
it's horrendous. So yeah, then you have to obviously wait for your nose to set. You have to wait 2 weeks and then let it set wherever it is, and then you have to crack it back.
When was the first time you broke your nose?
I was 18. I didn't really break many things before that. I broke my fingers a few times, like playing rugby and stuff, but I was pretty good, to be fair. The first time I broke my nose playing rugby, like over a ruck, this big fat prop came through with his knee and just like splattered my nose across my face. I remember standing up and like instantly like tears falling out your eyes. I wiped my hand like that and it was just like blood everywhere. But yeah, played on and then kind of got it straightened out at half time.
Once you break your nose, do you think it's really easy to break your nose again?
Oh, it's so weak.
Because the nose bone doesn't get fixed, does it really?
No.
It's just adjusted.
Yeah, so that first time was probably the best time out of all of them because it was like it was probably the best for my dad, actually. The only story I remember is my dad being my dad. My nose I had to literally wait again for it to set for 2 weeks. So I was walking around school with like a skew with nose. I couldn't actually see out of one eye because it was so far over. Went to the doctors. They had to reset it. So the guy was lying on a bed, looking up. He gave us like a needle of adrenaline in my nose. I was like buzzing, like running around waiting room, like absolutely buzzing off my tits. And then my dad was there with me in the room, and he got this little metal hammer out. He said, "On 3, we're gonna hit it."
What, with the hammer?
Yeah,
on your nose?
this little metal hammer. Yeah, because it was set, so he just hit it from the side. And my dad was like behind me when I was lying down. He went 1, 2, and on 2 just cracked it.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a broken branch, and my dad just started pissing himself.
Did he?
Yeah, I just remember that. And the doctor said, whatever you do to my dad, don't let him fall asleep when he goes home. Obviously, my dad, because all the headaches and stuff, it could like...
Right, so you don't want to like...
Because there's a bleed. Yeah, there's like a bleed, obviously, in your head. So we got home, my dad stayed downstairs in the kitchen. I went upstairs to bed, and obviously all the sedatives made me sleepy, so I fell asleep. I woke up to my mum shaking me and my dad getting bollocked.
Oh no.
So
At least you didn't die.
yeah, so mainly the nose for me. Second time, broke my nose again, but cracked my cheekbone where it joins.
What,
Like-
fractured your cheekbone?
Yeah. So where it joins there, cracked the cheekbone there. But yeah, then it's just soft after that.
Then
It's
it's
just
just break
soft.
easy.
Yeah. So
And then when you broke it again, do you just go back in and they just go?
yeah, they go in, shake their head, go through it again. So then the last time I broke it, I kind of just left it, and I played rugby a little bit, and it nudged it a bit. So my nose is a bit like skew with still, but I just leave it. I just struggle to like breathe out of one nostril.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so nose, dislocated my shoulder, broke my clavicle. Playing
Rugby again?
Yeah.
It's always rugby. Rugby
Yeah.
is so. Well,
Yeah.
it's just such a contact
Oh,
sport. like,
ridiculous. Yeah.
if you're playing rugby and you've not broken a bone,
Yeah.
you are lucky.
And I was a back, so I mainly stayed out of it, but it was just the odd time you just got smashed. I got tackled from the side and got tackled like straight on by another guy, and as he tackled me, like I don't know how he hit me, but he tackled me and it dislocated my shoulder, and I felt it pop out. And then as I hit the floor from the side, because the guy coming this way, it popped back in.
No way.
But as it popped back in, it shattered all my clavicle.
Oh mate.
So my clavicle now, like one side, I've got like a normal bone, and the rest of it is just completely flat.
Really?
But because they couldn't do anything with it, it's fused to my
What,
first.
like your collarbone type?
Yeah. If you feel it, you gotta feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's
Gee, so it just shattered it.
so it's fused to my first rib. So I've got like a thick
Yeah.
first rib.
What's that?
Yeah, it's grim. So yeah, apart from that, just mainly that.
Mad.
Just don't play rugby; it'll fuck you up.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
That's good going. That.
but you just gotta like. I think back then, obviously, my mum hated me playing rugby, but the team that I was in, you just got on with it.
Yeah.
Like
Part of the sport.
probably that injury now, moving on to like later life now, doing fitness. I'm all right doing like overhead squats and stuff like that. It just like that last bit of like rotation there. It does just get. It feels a bit like a block. It's not stiff. It just
Yeah, like your range of motion.
yeah. I can do like a full circle on my arm and stuff like that, but it's just not clicky. I don't know. It's like a
Not
bit
as
like
fluid.
yeah, because it just popped back in. I never
Did anything?
I never went to see anyone because
Yeah,
my
so
arm just my fingers went tingly, and I was like, yeah,
It's probably not ideal.
no. I was like, oh, that's all right. I've got my arm back.
Yeah.
And it was only a few days after that I realised that my clavicle just wasn't there.
That's mad. That.
Yeah, and I only found that out that it fused to my first rib when I went for just like a generic like chest X-ray. I just went for like a health checkup,
Yeah.
and it came back on the X-ray. They were like, "Did you always have this?" And I was like, "No."
Wow.
So, yeah,
Well, I've had nothing like that.
top trumps. Let's go.
Mine have been pretty bad. I've had a sprained ankle once. Literally, I've never broke a bone.
Really?
Nothing. Not even like a toe. Nothing.
Wow.
Like when I'm talking about fitness injuries, I'm thinking, like I've sprained both my ankles. That was fine. Didn't need anything.
There must be tears or something. You must have.
The worst thing I've ever had was just I sprained my ankle, but I'm pretty sure I fractured my. I'm pretty sure it was like a fracture or a tear or a ligament or something, because it. When you sprain your ankle and for like 4 or 6 weeks you can feel it. This was like months, and it was like a swollen. It was like a bowling ball, but that was it, and that was just going over my ankle playing football. And then I've done my other ankle, I think, in the gym. I like jumped down from a pull up, like a big bar.
Yeah.
Where you have to jump quite high to get on it. I was doing pull ups on there, and then I jumped down, and I landed on a weight and went over on it. Other than that, like I've literally never broke a bone. I've never like had anything. Never had a tooth knocked out. Nothing.
Wow.
So I've done well. But I was never playing like physical sport like
Like
you.
contact sport,
You
yeah.
know, even football, I was playing like 5-a-side with my mates and stuff. I wasn't like playing like full on in a big team.
Yeah. I remember I was a bit of a minging story, but it's only a short one. I remember literally playing football, 11-a-side game, and clean breaking this guy's shin.
Oh, really? Straight through.
So I was always brought up with, like, if it's a 50-50 challenge, if you hit him harder, my dad always said, like, if you pussy out, you'll end up injuring yourself. So you go full tilt, like, ball and man. So it was a 50-50 tackle, and I went through, balls there, just cleared the ball out. As I've cleared it out, obviously wearing shin pads, and we've hit, like, shin on shin like that. And I felt my shin pad absolutely fine, my shin, and literally his shin has just warped round mine. So I'd snapped his shin pad, and like his full tib and fib just went round my leg.
Some force.
And he was like on the floor and lifted his leg up. He was like that.
Oh,
and you remember, like, I remember seeing him hold it, and he looked at his foot, and he just like passed out.
Yeah, and it's just gone. It's just floppy.
And then all their team
bending how it shouldn't bend.
Oh, it was awful. All their team came running after me and stuff, like, ref, send him off. Ref's like, how? Like a 50-50 tackle. It's like, I was like, it's not my fault, you know.
Yeah.
His leg broke, but I always drank
it all the time. Like,
I always drank milk as a kid, so that's why.
Rugby, all them sports, like, you do hear about big, big injuries.
God, I've seen some horrible injuries from, like, sports and stuff. I think we're about 13 or 14, and we're playing footy, and I remember, like, our goalkeeper kicked it past me to, like, towards our striker, and I remember looking at our striker, look to, like, flick it on. As he's flicked it on, the centre half's come to headed him, and literally shattered his entire cheekbone on the back.
Headed him in the face.
Yeah. So that as the ball's got there, the striker's flicked it on backwards like that. As he's gone like that, the defender's come to, like, head it, and he's flicked it past him. So the ball's gone over the defender's head, and the defender's just gone whack, like, his cheekbone. And as he hit the deck, I remember looking at him, and his whole face looked like he had a stroke. Like, his entire cheekbone just, like, fell down his face. I was like, that's minging.
Head to head.
Oh,
like,
just...
Your skull's, like, the hardest.
Yeah, back of his head, just whack.
Yeah.
Just, the sound.
It's the hardest bone in your body.
Yeah.
So...
Has to be, yeah. It's protecting. Front of your head, I think.
Someone.
I think it's like there's the toughest part of your head. Always, if you're going to headbutt someone, don't headbutt them with your forehead.
Yeah, it's like just above.
Like the rhino horn at the top of your head there. But yeah, rugby especially, you see some leg breaks and
What
awful.
About the gym? What's your worst? Have you ever had a bad, like, gym injury?
The
common ones are like ripped hands. I always rip my hands, like doing kipping pull-ups or something. You always end up ripping the main bit or the calluses.
Like you re-rip a callus, don't you? That's probably a bad one.
And that is bad because it stops you from working out. But then having a shower the next day,
soap and everything else,
burns through it.
Yeah, it's minging. I don't really know. Probably like the recent one, like around the CrossFit Games and stuff with my hip. It wasn't a bad one. I think it was just more annoying because it was like a hip flexor, and I just couldn't, like, I couldn't do anything. Like, what am I going to do? Like, one leg lunge, or, I mean, I could do upper body and stuff, but I couldn't do a workout or a class.
No, you couldn't train like you normally would.
No, it's just annoying. I couldn't run or anything like that. So
why do you think you got that?
I mean, it's through lack of stretching, warming up, whatever you want to call it. But then saying that, I know it's only yesterday, but it's the start of a new journey. I've downloaded that Go Wad app that everyone goes on about. Something like £6 a month or something, which is nothing. But they've got loads of, like, different workouts, like morning and night stretching routines, pre and post WOD workouts, and daily flow. So I'm just going to do them. It's like 15 minutes a day.
That's good.
And I'm going to do, like, I did one today before my run, like a pre and a post stretch. It's like 17 minutes total.
That's good. It's so important.
And I felt better. I did just feel better running.
Yeah.
Knowing I'd stretch. You know when I always start a run and I'm like, feel good, and then I get about 3K and I think, fucking hell, my calves are tight. I could do with a
Mm.
stretch, but you're never going to stop then, are you?
Yeah, it's already too late.
So
You're already in the work.
Yeah, so you just carry on and then you finish.
Yeah. You feel good for stretching anyway. You know, when you do stretch, maybe you have 10 minutes or 15 minutes of stretching. Do you not think you feel amazing after?
Yeah, I did
You
it.
feel like loose.
I did it last night because
I did it last night before bed.
Well, yeah, it was obviously before bed, maybe about half an hour, but it's like what I always say, like, you know, when you say about having time, I was sat watching an episode of Netflix and just thought, I was sat doing fuck all. I said to myself, I'd stretch. So I literally lay on the floor
Yeah,
and
that's what
stretch
I did.
whilst watching the telly.
Yeah. I said before bed every night I want to stretch because I want to know that I've made time to do it, but I want to feel good. I think I always have a dead nice sleep as well after I've stretched. Like, just stretch your whole body, like legs, hips, arms.
If I had more time, I would. Do you know that that better well-being journey? Do you know if you, not saying like a spa day, but do you know if we went for like a ice bath, sauna, steam room, like really like loosen yourself out, like a bit of a yoga type session, just proper loosen yourself out a few times a week, I bet you feel amazing.
Yeah.
But once I'd stretched last night, it was like a weird pec stretch. You had to lie like with one arm like that and like with your face to the side.
Yeah.
And then with this leg, you have to kick it backwards over your arm.
Right.
So you were like twisted, like a bit of like a helix.
But it was really stretching.
Oh God, I lay on the floor and I was like, I could just lie here.
Yeah.
My hips were getting stretched, my back, and I just thought, why don't I
so-
do this?
Stretching's so good for your feeling, like your mental health, like happiness level. I think everyone stretches, you feel amazing after.
I do.
Because do you know, like now I'm sat comfortably, but I'm not sat like straight because I wouldn't be able to sit here for a 40 minute. But I'm sat like arched over. When I'm at work, I'm pretty much the same. Even when you sat at home, you're like slouched on the sofa. So it's good to like stretch.
Yeah.
Like feel your full range of motion.
I saw a guy yesterday who had like, which it made me think about, do you know, when you look at your phone, everyone's heads were
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
He had like a proper arch back. This old guy looked like bloody Notre Dame, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And his head was, so his back was like that, and then his head basically went straight out like that instead of like up.
Really?
And he was like tilting his head like this to look straight, and I just thought, I don't want to be like that.
Do you know what I love watching on Instagram? The chiropractor videos. Have I said this before?
Yeah, but I was just laughing about do you know the mock videos where they get
Yeah.
like, the fake
Like-
skeletons just.
I was gonna.
And he was just going to stretch it back.
Honestly, I love watching them. But when I see someone like you just said, where you see someone in the street, I instantly, first thing I think is, I'd love to stand on your back.
Yeah.
I just feel crap.
Yeah.
Because people, you're right, like, the shoulders are rounded,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
neck's like sloped, and the whole. There's a guy I see in Lytham. He walks. He's got a pram. I'm assuming there's a baby in the pram. I'm assuming there's a baby in the pram, but he's got a pram and he walks his pram round, and he has got like maybe an arch round back or something. But even then, like, if you have got a round back, stand up a bit more.
Yeah. I think it's being conscious to pull your shoulders back because it's harder to do that because obviously gravity would just make your arms go like this, which will naturally round you off. But if you sit back,
Yeah. Well, even now, like, this is comfortable now, right? I'm pretty much sat up straight, but I wouldn't be able to sit like this comfortably for 20 more minutes. So when I'm sat like this, my back's still straight, but my shoulders aren't like this. I'm kind of just like normal. But some people do have this.
They're like gorillas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to stretch.
Yeah.
Some people, like, I bet some people who watch this or listen to this haven't stretched for years. And I mean, stretch, not touch your toes because someone said, can you touch your toes? Like, have a 10-minute stretch session.
That's always the test, isn't it? If someone says how flexible you are, everyone just goes, can you touch your toes?
Yeah.
And they go, no, you can't, or you're not flexible. Or yeah, you can. Do you know the people? You used to look at people and you could put like the full palms on the floor, and people would be like, "Wow, like you're well flexible."
Yeah.
It's like, I might just have a long upper body and short
Yeah,
legs.
some people can just easily do that. Yeah,
Like, it doesn't mean you're flexible,
yeah,
and you're just flexible going the wrong way.
yeah.
No one wants to walk like bent over the floor.
I tell you when everyone finds out as well, there's that game where you rip the cereal box and you have to get it with your mouth. You ever played that?
The cereal box.
So like it's a drinking game, or maybe it's not a drinking game, it's just a fun game. You get a cereal box empty and then you put it on the floor and everyone stands in a circle, and then you put your hands behind your back and each of you has to bend over and pick it up with your mouth. And then you do a full round and then you rip the cereal box so it gets smaller and smaller.
Oh,
and
right,
smaller.
okay.
And eventually you've literally got a piece of cardboard on the floor and there's always someone who can literally get it. Like, you're in the splits, you put your hands down, you pick it up.
That's mental.
And they're always like, how did you get so flexible? Like, someone can do it, and there'll be someone that can't even get the cereal box without using the hands at the start because they just have no flexibility whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I probably could get it at the start, but afterwards I'd probably struggle. But for me, I'm wanting to stretch, get into like more of a routine, like once a day at least, just stretching, just to help me with just like general workouts and just general fitness. Do you know? So I think anyway, sometimes, say for like wall balls, why I get tired is not through lack of power and fitness. It's because when you're doing so many, my shoulders get tight because the muscles are tight anyway. Because I don't. Do you know that makes sense? Like, because I don't stretch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm naturally coming further and further in.
It makes sense as well. I was thinking about, when you see people squat and their toes, their feet go in.
Yeah.
Like their heels come up to the side because they don't have that range of motion. But there's a muscle that's making up for that motion, like your lack of motion there. So it's important, flexibility, even for like snatch, like your shoulder mobility and like just anything.
See, I think about the snatch, for example, which is probably one of the hardest movement or most technical movements. There's a lot going on anyway, and you've got to chuck all this weight above your head. But for me, I can snatch I've not snatched for a while, but when I could do a decent amount of weight out of just
strength,
power. Like, if you looked at me front on, you think, fucking hell, he's doing all right there. But from the side on, my back's probably like not arched, it's probably straight, like just tense like a board, because it's just, everything is just making sure my arms can't move.
Yeah.
But then you always get found out if you move to a heavier weight, because you look at like the big CrossFitters, they lift the weight because their whole body is just...
Yeah, it's more like technical than strength.
It's so flexible that it could just get it all there and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I want to be at.
And then you watch the big athletes, whether it's gym, high rocks, CrossFit, the big athletes, like the best in the game, are prioritizing flexibility and stretching and mobility as well.
Well-being and mobility, really, isn't it?
Whereas we don't, and we've said it before, like, we train like, not us, but people like us, train like athletes, but we don't recover like athletes.
No.
We don't stretch, and we don't go ice baths, and we don't go to like sports massages like they would, but then we train as frequently as they would.
And I think we're not sitting here saying you want to be like professional athletes, but if you were to go against them, it would be that last 5-10% of them actually doing mobility stuff that would make them just that bit better.
Yeah.
Because you think, like, say you stretch your thigh, which is like the biggest like part of your body in a way. If you got shit flexibility, your muscles are only working to a certain elasticity, aren't they? So the more you stretch them, the more your body can work. The lower you might be able to get on that wall ball to push it up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Those are the last little bits that help you.
Yeah. It's what separates like the 1%ers.
Yeah.
Because all the little things you can do are important for the top 10% of athletes. But if you're like a avid gym goer and you want to prioritize like gym or recovery, you have to do that in your training. And it is, do you know what? It is the boring bit.
Yeah.
Stretching before or after is the boring bit.
And I think that for me is the bit where, I would struggle because of it being boring. There's like not really much stimulus, so like maybe like watching something or something that might help you just get through it initially, get past that like 2-3 month period where it's still a bit boring, to where you get a bit more flexible and you notice it, to then be like, oh, I don't actually mind this because I'm seeing the rewards now.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the High Rocks World Championships and stuff and thinking about it, going like, I'm watching them doing the burpees, and when I do the burpees, obviously I'm springy to the floor and I can spring back up. Obviously not as springy as you, but that's another story. Maybe I'm just fatter. But like if you imagine like from my hips upwards, it's kind of, I'm hitting the floor straight in a way, not like slapping on the floor, but straight. Whereas like you watch the pro athletes and they're like it, do you like the worm dance?
Yeah.
They're like that, and they get the momentum and they like flick up off the floor.
Yeah.
And that's the flexibility. They're able to just use that momentum. Whereas me just like slapping down on the floor is just killing all that speed.
It can be even something like the sled push at High Rocks, and having flexibility in your calf and your hamstrings to like take a further step.
Yeah.
And like being able to push off your calf, and knowing that you've stretched so much, like, and you've got this consistent like stretch routine, that you can push off that calf and not damage it, and it's not cramping.
Or get lower. So instead of, because if you're higher and you're pushing down, obviously it's going to go slower. So if you're lower, you can push up on it.
Yeah.
You're practically lifting it up. So it's just like those tiny little things where you look at them, even when they're running round and stuff, like they're so flexible. Well, because they're stretching, they can go quicker because they can stretch further. The strides are massive. And I just, in a way, just want to help myself. I don't want to be like that guy with a bent back.
Yeah. It's funny, stretching is like, when you do it, you're like, oh, I love it. When you do a good stretch, you're like, oh, like you said, you were on the floor and you're stretching your pec, and you think, oh, I could just sit in this forever. And then you, like, a week later, you might still be doing it, or you might be like, nah.
I'm still going to be doing it. I don't know if you've used the GoWad app, but they have like a video, like a tutorial, right? It was so demoralizing, because I was watching a video and I watched this woman do it, and I was looking at the video and how I was lying on the floor. If anyone came in, I was just like nowhere near where she was on the picture. She was practically had her back on the floor, twisted around that floor. You just look like a fucking sod here, just like.
I've done it at yoga when we've done yoga before, and the yoga instructor's doing this thing. She's like, and if you can just take your,
and you're sweating
and breathing dead heavy.
Yeah, and everyone's like super chilled, and you're looking round, and she's like, downward dog and up and breathe, and you're like,
and you think it's like a proper workout. You top off, you're sweating. How many rounds?
Yeah. How long are we doing this for? She's like, hold it for 3 minutes, and you're like, 3?
Yeah.
You're shaking like this.
Hard.
Yeah.
But you feel good after it. I love stretching, but I don't do it enough. It is like you. It's on my, from last night, which is weird because you said you did it the first time last night.
Yeah.
Every night before bed, I'm just stretching, mainly because it helps me sleep better, I think, but also you just feel good.
See, I looked at the stats on the GoWad app, right, and I initially downloaded it, which was quite horrible to watch, to be fair. But I downloaded it in May 2022.
Did you? And how many times have you used it?
Well, it doesn't say how many times you use it, but it says your total hours of stretching, and it was 10 hours.
I thought he was going to say 10 minutes.
No, it was 10 hours in 2 years.
Yeah, it's still bad, but it's not.
I probably stretched obviously a little bit more after classes, but obviously it's not on there. But I bet I've not stretched a lot. But 10 hours in 2 years, I thought that's just shit.
Yeah.
You can put like the stretching on for 25 minutes on the protocol thing.
Yeah, and
that's not a lot.
And you need to do it because you don't want to be that, older person who drops something in the shop and they can't bend down to pick it up because they've got no flexibility.
Yeah, it'll probably happen to us. Like, it does happen to us now, doesn't it? Like an older person will drop it and you'll pick them up and they go, God, I don't know how you do that. And I think, well, there's 30 years on us that I should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to be the guy
that does that
when I'm 65 going, would you pick it up for us?
Yeah.
I can't bend down. It's I don't know. I need to definitely do more of it.
Yeah, me too. And I love stretching, and I love like cracking. You know, like in the
Yeah.
morning, the first thing I do, I like sit on the side of the bed and I just like crack my back, stretch, and you just feel good. It's like,
Yeah.
right, I'm ready for it.
Ready, I'm limbered up.
But doing it for 10 seconds is not going to do anything for you.
No, like bending down, touching your toes, bob down a few times, do that with your back,
Yeah.
and then go, right, I'm ready to run 10K. Like you've literally not warmed up anything
Yeah.
that's going to be used.
Yeah.
And
you need that just good stretch to prevent injury, but also to loosen you up, get you ready, get warm, and then, you know, like even if you just do it at the end of the day, just like stretch everything off and just do it for the pure enjoyment of stretching and increasing your flexibility. I love like sitting on the floor and touching my toes, but then seeing how far I can get. You know, like at the minute, I can just touch my toes if I curl them back.
oh, can you?
Yeah, like
Oh, I can do more than that.
mine's bad, but then maybe in like 2 weeks after doing it every night, I'll be like further and further and further.
Yeah, you're more flexible in literally most things than me in the
I can
gym.
touch my toes, but like, you know, when you hold it, like it
hurts.
God, it's tight there.
Yeah, but say when we do, like handstand push-ups or something against the wall.
Oh yeah.
Like the main part of it is mainly your core, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to really tend your core, and it's not like I've got a weak core. It's more the flexibility in my actual spine.
Yeah, your shoulders and your spine all
aligned. Yeah. I can do it. I can actually do it, but it's like a messy muscle handstand.
You can do it on strength.
Whereas everyone else, if you look from the side, they're all like nicely curved and stuff like that, and I'm just like sideways into the wall. But it's just my strength that's just getting me out of it.
And then imagine you compare that strength with the flexibility.
Yeah, and
it's a game changer.
And that's where you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where the top athletes are.
Yeah,
they've prioritized everything. Like Hunter McIntyre in High Rocks probably stretches for like an hour a day.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they can because that's their job. Whereas at the end of the day, I stretch for 10 minutes before bed, and it does me all right because I'm just like an average Joe. You know what I mean?
But it's just that finding that time, and you do have the time. It's just when you want to do it, you could do like a bit in the morning. It doesn't have to be a 1 hour block, does it? Just be
just a bit here and there. Do you know what? I think we talked about it the other week, just in the gym. We were talking about stretching, I'm sure. And since then, I've actually been like stretching at random points in the day. Like when I work from home, I'll sit and stretch my legs, and like in the morning sometimes when I'm getting ready, like I might just like start stretching a little bit just here and there because it's good for you. It feels good.
I think when I work from home and stuff, you know, I walk around because I sit down, I walk about, so it's just maybe adding that little bit of just like a 10-minute little stretch.
It's a good, you know, the calf one where you're literally just like leaning and your back calf stretching. I love doing that when I'm like making food.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Or like doing you like kneel towards like a wall or something and stretch your calf.
Yeah,
that's a nice one.
The best one I do for running is I don't know if this is the one you just said. I don't think it is. Is where you like lunge where there's a wall behind you, and then you put your back foot up
on
against
the wall.
it, and your knees on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, that
just
front
hold
stretch.
That, and your front quad is stretched, and like
hip flexors and everything.
And you just sit in that for ages, and you're like, wow, this is good.
And then with the other leg, you just push it a little bit, and it stretches more. Yeah. See, I know half the stretches. It's just
doing them.
Yeah, but it doesn't take a lot of time, we said.
It's mainly probably just your satisfaction of doing it. Sometimes you're like, oh God, I can't be arsed stretching. But then when you do it, you love it. So it's that bit of doing it.
Yeah, just need to I'm going to do it more with this app. It bloody sends you a notification.
What's it called?
Go Wad. Yeah.
Go Wad, I've heard of it.
So it sponsors like the CrossFit Games and stuff.
Do they have like, the bit you pay for, do they also have like workouts and stuff? Not just stretching?
No, it's just like a stretching app.
It's just a stretching
app. So it's like got loads of different stretching workout type things. So you pick like, it's really good. So like you put in what movements you're going to be doing. If it's like a pre-WOD,
Oh, right, cool. So you could say I'm going to go and do cleans,
yeah,
and then it might give you.
and it'll work out, like it'll tell you which, exercises to
Oh,
use.
that's
You,
cool.
you put like if you got a foam roller, a stretching ball, like whatever, a bar, and it works all the stretches out for you. And then you just
Right.
pick a time, like 5, 10, 15 or 20 minutes.
That's cool.
So it just, that's the thing, it does all of it for you. It
Yeah.
counts it all down for you.
That's good.
It
I
talks,
might have to have a look at that.
yeah,
Go what?
and it's, it's Matt Fraser uses it and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, if he's using it, then it's decent.
yeah.
So he's
So
probably a shareholder in it as well.
yeah, it probably is, but it does it all for you. So it's literally just got to turn up and stretch.
That's quality.
So I need to do more of it.
Right, well, if you're still here, thanks for listening. And if you're not yet following or liking or subscribing or commenting, then please do. It helps us out. Lets us know that you're enjoying it or maybe you're not enjoying it, and let us know. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you on the next one.